Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We're going to continue our flight in learning and discovering just a little bit more about this amazing language every day. Yesterday, we talked about 略施小计. So both 略 and 小 gives you a degree of how much force you apply and what kind of method you're going to apply. It's small, insignificant. You just use it ever so lightly. And so I translate it as hacks because it's something easy to do. It's low cost to you, low cost, low risk, but it's kind of working. It's effective tool. So that's the sense of 略施小计. And today we have another kind of a 略施. So same thing, ever so slightly apply something. So we switch out 小计 with 粉黛, 略施粉黛. It talks about cosmetics this time. Okay, again, review of 略 and 施. 略 talk about the border of a country. So this is the cutting of a field, right? This block is a field, and then you cut it into pieces. So that's our field. And then the right side is 个. It's pronounced as 个. It means individual. So you have a different directions or thoughts, right? It's counted as individual, and it composed of this backward walking. So this is our symbol for walking backwards. I regarded this long line as reaching out the back foot. That's kind of reaching backwards, walking toward the other direction. And then we have a mouse. Whenever we have a mouse, that means somebody is speaking. Somebody has its intention voiced out or giving orders, and then somebody walking backwards, meaning not following that order. They have their own thoughts. So this 个 means individual, field, right? Plus together, that means the far-reaching land that's still connected to the central government, but they have their own kind of running. Well, imagine United States, right? So it's kind of different states, and then there is this central governing higher power over there located in one part of the country, but the far-reaching land is kind of have their own local government. Imagine that. Okay, so that's the ancient structure as well. And eventually this individual land, that means far-reaching land, that's the border. And a carried meaning of, because it's far away from the central, right? So it's not that significant if something like a natural disaster or the enemy invading into that part is not that close to your core of the governing body. So in comparison, relatively, that's like slightly less impactful. So it carried the meaning of this slightly, like marginally less significant. 是, so it related to authority figure, this dome, not exactly dome, but this angular shape of rooftop with a chimney on the top. And then this kind of somebody speaking and giving orders. And then we have this flagging. Flagging is the ancient time of communicating, of giving orders, giving out signals, because back then we don't really have mass media, right? So how to give signals? It's through flagging. So the flagging, originally, this whole word means the spread of the flag. And I also read it as the passaging or the passing of the intentions of the governing body through flagging. So then eventually it lose the original meaning for, or not lose, but extend the original meaning of passing the order from the authority top down to simply passing the authority or giving a goal, applying some intention to action. So converting intention to action. So that becomes this 施. Now, the new words 粉 and 黛 are two types of ancient, commonly used cosmetics, makeups. So 粉 is the powder. It came from the left and right structure, and right side is sound maker, but together they make a meaning perfect. The left side, this cross, and also with this Okay, it looks like a space cut into 8 pieces, right? If you count it, it's 8. So this is 4, right? And then you have this semi. So even regard it as a direction, right? North, south, east, west, and then we have this northeast, and yeah, all 4. So together 8 directions, right? We often use this 米, it pronounced as 米. 米 came from this image of you have your harvest, right? You have your rice. Imagine long rice, long form rice. That's easier to imagine. So they kind of pile together in one big pile, right? And the grains are going in all kinds of directions. They overlay on top of each other, right? That's a kind of a visual image we created to mean these are the grains that put together. And oftentimes people use in Chinese because it points to 8 different directions or cut a space into 8 pieces, right? We sometimes use 米 to refer it to the shape of cut into 8 pieces or 8 directions. For example, we say the British flag, picture British flag, right? Just look like that. It got a horizontal line, cross, horizontal, vertical, and then there is this cross in this direction as well, 45 degrees from the original cross, right? So that's the English, the British flag. We call it 米字旗. So 米字 is this word, this character of 米字旗. So it looks just like this and this. So this is 米. The right side is sound maker, sounds like 分. So now it becomes converted into 粉. 分 means separating. We have this number 8 on the top. Number 8 on the top also can like symbolize something got separated. And you can see like originally it was this is then separated. It becomes 2 pieces. It gives you a visual sense of something separated. And the bottom is our knife, kind of tools used to cut something in half. So when we have grains, which are granular, right? In English, it's granular. It comes from grains, like how fine it is. And then we have this further separation of that. That means on top of the grains, it's already pretty fine, and you further cut it down into even smaller pieces. So that's our concept of powder. It's even finer cut in a higher granularity. So that's our powder. Very logical, right? Okay, but it's too complicated for me to explain. Overall, it's an ancient,粉, I didn't give it a full. So powder, just like exact the same in contemporary makeup culture, powder, exactly that. It's what's used to cover your full face, to make, I don't know, the texture even, the color even, something to unify the face. So that's the base, right? The base of or the primer, I don't know, much of the cosmetics, but that's the ancient way to just powder up your whole face. And the dye is focusing on the eyebrows to apply to make it darker. We have this dark, this black sign at the bottom, which kind of looks like that. And okay, so this kind of human figure with 2 separated lines, kind of like this, right? This, but it comes from here. The whole thing structure is fire. The reason it's fire is because it looks like a fire, right? Just look at the fire, the shape of the fire. It's kind of like this shape with some sparkles getting separated from the main body of the fire. That's how the fire looks visually. And we have 3 fires. Do you see 3 of them stacking up? So that means a lot of fires and something coming out of fire. These are 2 hand symbols. And this is some cooking utensils. So you have fire and you have hand working over that cooking utensils, and you have another fire on top of it. Is probably ancient time of cooking something up with fire. And I view it as, and this is probably ancient wood or some structure that, or a log that you put to add to the fire. So this process is cooking, but also something from cooking is like a charcoal, something charred, right? Something already carbonized. And that's the piece used to decorate the eyebrows. I'm not exactly sure in contemporary makeup cosmetic industry what elements was used for eyebrow makeup powder. But that's the ancient way to make something black from the charcoals. So 略施粉黛 means lightly apply the powders and do this eyebrow pigment, which is black color. And altogether, it means light makeup. So when I search 略施粉黛 on internet, this picture shows up. And this is a classical, or not classical, iconic actress back in the 1980s or 70s. I think it's 90, most popular. So when I was growing up, she was like the star, the brightest, beautiest, like most beautiful star back then. Her name is Lin Qingxia, and she acted a lot of rom-com, chick flick kind of movie, and her makeup is kind of this a perfect illustration of 略施粉黛. It's not a heavy makeup. It doesn't have heavy like eyeshadows or heavy lip colors. It's just ever so lightly applied, either the powder or the eyebrows, and it's just her natural beauty showing through. And I think like contemporary beauty industry, or generally like a female magazine, kind of reviewing this 1980s time of like era of aesthetics on the idea of female beauty. So this 略施粉黛 style may get back again, like ever so lightly fixed the face that looks natural as possible. That's appreciated more, hopefully. Okay, we'll see. Cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day. See you another day.